All right, hello and welcome to the Rainy Monday Kerbal stream. I am going to just jump right in today. It's finally time to rescue our good buddy little Jeb from Cerulean. So after messing around with a few different designs for and coming up with a few ways to get him off Cerulean, I think we've got something. So I just wanted to say as we start, it's a little bit of a somber note today. If you can see on the stream, our cat Sweetie of almost 20 years had to be put down today after basically just declining over the past few months. She's gotten to where she can't keep any food down, and she is not doing very well. So today was the day we finally had to put her down. So a bit of a somber note. So this stream is the Kerbal Sweetie Space Rescuing Jeb something something stream. So this stream is dedicated to our rather rotund 20-year-old cat. So with that out of the way, we are going to jump into this. So I am going to start with the fuel tank that is going to give us basically our transfer to Cerulean and the return trip for Jeb. So I am going to start with a large, I believe it's a Rockomax, I should do this by size, fuel tank, and I'm going to mount that on a sub-assembly that I have. So I need to look for my Rockomax. This is going to be what takes Jeb back home once we get him. So I need to put some control on there. I'm going to stick on a remote guidance unit, if I can speak properly, and I'm also going to do a reaction wheel. I am going to be putting RCS on it, but I'm going to throw a reaction wheel so that I don't have to waste all of my fuel. And I think I'm actually going to go ahead and put the RCS tank in between those two, sandwich it a little bit. So Jeb's been hanging out on Cerulean since I started playing this, since the first thing I did once I got the game on PC is immediately download every mod I could find. And what that amounted to was some new planet packs. Well, the first thing I did is throw Jeb on a ship to the new planet, and it turns out I didn't plan the Delta V accordingly. So Jeb had to use his monopropellant to make it onto the planet, and he ended up parachuting out after it exploded in the air, and he has pretty much been alone for, I don't know, almost a decade in Kerbal time. So it's probably time we go pick up our good little buddy. And we do not need anyone to go help him. We don't need to go hit the college career fair to look for new Kerbal recruits, since this will be an unmanned ship. I'm looking for the Clampotron because I want the small Clampotron so I can connect this to the ship that's actually going to go down. And I thought, oh, it's probably in coupling. So we don't need anyone to go pick him up, but we do need a ship that will actually be able to grab him. I know that looks tiny, but I'm going to be using a single capsule flipped on top of this, so I don't want a huge, heavy Clampotron. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some RCS on here. I think these are the stock ones. I'm going to throw a set of these on. This is going to stay in orbit when I go pick him up, but I would like to have some control over this beyond just what our reaction wheel gives us. So I need lots of I should probably put a battery on there too, shouldn't I? I will go ahead and I guess that's considered a whole unit. I'll just stick it in there. I need some power so that this thing doesn't die when I'm trying to pick our good little green friend up, who has pretty much run out of snacks. The whole time he's been there, he tried to do his best salvaging what he could. How much battery? That gives us a ton. That's actually more than I need. I thought there was a... no. Thought there was a size between... Oh, there it is. Between these. That's what I need. He's run out of snacks and has been phoning home, and definitely, most certainly would like to make it back in time for his programs, which air in a few years. Since it is going to be a long trip, he's been there almost a decade. He is ready to come home and have some fresh pudding cups and maybe change his clothes. I think he's been in his spacesuit a little while. I'm going to put some communication on here because Jeb would probably like to talk to his fans back home, since he does have quite a large fan base sending a mail, but most of them don't realize that the mail doesn't actually reach Cerulean, since he's the only one to ever set foot on it, but that's okay. Just the thought, right? Just the thought that he's getting mail will help him. So we've got enough power there. We've got our RCS. Should be balanced pretty well. I'm going to call this Jeb's Return. Oh, I need to throw an engine. That would probably help. And I do need to put a way of coupling this. So let me go ahead and set that as the new route. So that, there. Just for convenience. So now let's go ahead and put the engine. I think I'm just going to go with one of the stock engines. I know I have plenty of extras installed here, but I think that the old standby... Where is our friend, the old poodle? I think that's going to give us plenty of Delta V. So how much are we going to get? Yeah, we're going to get 4,600. That should be enough to get to Cerulean, to get into orbit, and return home. I'm planning... So, okay, that might not be enough just straight up to get there, orbit, and back. But I am planning on having extra... fuel from what is going to be carrying this up, so I should be okay. I'm just going to stay with that. Now let me think if there's anything I need here. This is not going to be coming back into the atmosphere, so this does not need any sort of re-entry. This is going to stay in orbit. I don't know if there's anything else. If anyone can think of anything, now's the chance, because Jeb, this is Jeb's last chance. I don't need any science. Got the power, got the control. Enough Delta V, I believe. Yeah, I think we are good. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the Rockomax decoupler right about there. Raise this up a little bit, and then I'm going to use the lifter subassembly to get this into orbit. And we will take a look at it. I think I went with this guy. Oh, I don't need two of those, so let me take that off. And since that does have a decoupler on it, I would like a little bit of a shell. I think, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put the fairing down there, just so that this is clean and I don't have any clutter once I'm in space, because we don't like space junk. And that would be in aerodynamics, I believe. No. Where? It might be payload. I think they were shifted to payload, maybe? Yeah, here we go. So we're going to throw our fairing on. We're going to extend it out just a bit. Raise up, just to give it, not quite there. A little bit more aerodynamic. There we go. That looks good. Now we will throw the lifter on. Raise it all up. Zoom out and take a look. So I built that simple lifter a little while ago. It's just a few stages. Should be more than enough to get this fuel tank up into orbit. And then I'm going to bring the ship and dock them in orbit. And that will give us everything we need. I'm just trying to make sure... You know what? I'm going to go ahead and put just... no, actually, I don't need that. I was going to put some the little Werner control engines on here that use the liquid fuel, just to give me a little bit more authority. But I honestly think with these bad boys down here, this is going to give me more than enough control. So let me make sure everything's staged properly. That looks good. Looks good. Looks good. I'm not going to be turning that engine on. So yeah, I think we are going to, without further ado, get this thing off the ground and ready for Jeb's return trip. Now, I mentioned before, the last time I was getting everything ready, that I don't actually know the statistics for Cerulean. I'm sure I could look those up, but I'm sort of going into this blind. We want to see, it's sort of a new adventure going in there. So I know that there's an atmosphere, and I know that it's roughly the same mass as Kerbal. It might be a little bit thinner because I think the atmosphere is a little bit more tenuous. But I'm planning basically to send something that can get off of... I'm going to land something that could then get back in orbit if I was to take off straight from Kerbal. So I'm going to check my Delta V according to Kerbal and go from there when I start building the actual lander. So I'm going to use the ascent guidance because I want everything to be as precise as possible, I'm going to have a 120 kilometer orbit. And let me just check here. I usually like to do things manually, but when I want to dock, I want to make sure everything is pretty much right in line in the same plane. I know that you can't adjust that, but I want to just keep it as clean as possible. So I want to make sure we limit our pressure because I don't want any wobbling. Let's make sure everything, I don't care about the throttle. It sort of does it on its own. Staging, auto warp, skip circularization. No, I don't want to skip that. So I think we are ready to go. Let's engage the autopilot and watch this little remote go. Maybe. Should be going. Maybe. Maybe. Am I missing something? Did I not engage the engines? They should be going. Maybe. There we go. Just need to give it a little boost. Okay, and you will notice that I have a new mod from last time installed, which is the... Let me actually... just knock the mic. Let me check the name of it here. It is the Real Plume, which gives the really, really attractive looking exhaust, the more realistic exhaust. I absolutely love the way that looks. So I'm going to be keeping that installed. It should... I haven't actually seen what it looks like in orbit, but it should... As I get higher, it should expand just like a real rocket exhaust, so I really like the way that looks. In the meantime, we are going to watch and make sure our acceleration and our apoaps are getting up where I need them to be. And like I said, this will circularize, and I'm going to leave this in orbit, and then I'm going to bring the ship that is going to take Jeb home. I'm going to bring that up and have them rendezvous, and then we will be actually staying in orbit until I get my transfer window, and then it's off to pick up Jeb. Oh, look how nice that looks. That's brilliant, isn't that? That's really attractive, isn't it? Oh, man. Okay, new favorite mod. Definitely new favorite mod. Oh, a little bit of slowdown. That's totally worth it because that looks really, really good. I'm going to zoom out. Oh, man. I love that. Look how good that looks. It's like I'm watching it on TV. That is, well, I am watching it on TV. Ooh, bad pun, right? Or bad joke. Not quite pun, bad joke. But yeah, that, very pleased with that. So I'm going to watch our apoaps there, our liquid fuel. So I do have another stage in here. And the idea is that these are going to be coupling. And you see this little stage right here. This is going to help this stage up here get into orbit, and that's where that extra delta V will come from, since this stage up here that's in the fairing that I'm going to deploy only has, okay, only, it's not really only, but it has about 4,500 meters per second of delta V, and this is what's going to help it. So yes, extend all that. I don't have any lights on it, which probably would have been helpful. Yeah, probably could have put some lights to make it easier to dock, but oh well, I've docked in the dark many times before, so I should have auto warp on. I don't want to use any of my RCS fuel, even though I could to make the maneuver a little bit faster, but I'm just going to let the reaction wheel do its thing and take a sip of my fizzy beverage. So while we're waiting for this to get into orbit, I wanted to mention something that I talked about last Tuesday on my Building Freeport series on city skylines, that coming later this spring, probably towards the end of May, I'm going to be bringing my publisher, the owner of Glass Spider Publishing, on board to one of the episodes of Building Freeport. And I'm going to have an AMA where anyone who's watching can ask me or him anything you guys might want to know about writing, publishing, editing, or anything like that. So between the two of us, we've pretty much done... Oh, there we go. Nice separation. The plume's looking good. Between the two of us, we've pretty much done everything from magazines to books to, actual editing. We've got years and years of experience, and I thought it would be a really cool way to sort of finish off that, at least the first part of that series come May, where he's going to join me on a Skype call. And I encourage all of you guys to actually join in and bring your questions, whether you're in high school, college, or beyond, anything that you might want to ask some, professional writers, editors, and publishers. Any of your questions, I encourage you guys to bring them. It's going to be a lot of fun. He's going to join me through Skype while I play City Skylines, and we are going to probably do it in the evening on a Friday night for an hour or two. I will have more information available on my website and my Facebook page, but I just want to encourage you guys to join in. I know it'll be a lot of fun. Since we have that finished, I'm actually going to go ahead and circularize the orbit just to make sure it's super precise. So we are going to circularize at the next apoapse. I'm just going to do another quick warp. Like I said, since I have a lot to do here, I want to make sure we get it done, and we get it done exactly. But anyway, as for that event, I'm going to be posting information and create an actual Facebook event for that come the probably beginning of April. I will have more information, but like I said, if you've ever wanted to ask an author and or publisher and or editor anything about writing in any regard, that'll be a really cool chance. So look for more information on my Disparia Books Facebook page and the website itself. As well as I'll be mentioning on Twitch when each Tuesday I'll give you updates during the Building Freeport series. So be sure to tune in to that and tell your friends and anyone that might be interested. And I will hopefully see you guys then. Let's get this into a perfect orbit. And I will leave it with this attached because the craft that is going to pick up Jeb is going to attach to the front. It's going to come in backwards, so the nose, the capsule is going to be at the front, and this is going to be powering us all the way to Cerulean. And hopefully it works, because I'm not sure. We're going to execute. Really short little one, and I love the way that exhaust looks. That's probably my favorite single mod that I've found. Really happy with that. So I'm going to quick save, because saving is what I've learned kind of important. And we will leave that there in orbit. Let me close Mech Jeb. And we will head back to the Space Center while that is in orbit. Now we are going to build the craft that is going to get our little pudding-eating friend, Lonely Jeb, off the planet. Get rid of some of the junk. I think there's a mod that automatically cleans that stuff, but I have not installed it. And being the neat freak that I am, I'm surprised I haven't installed anything that's cleaning oriented. But, you know, I've got, what, like 80 mods installed. I'd have to check CCAN, but I have so many mods, I don't think I need to add any more. Okay, now we are going to build the Jeb Return capsule. I'm going to base this off of pretty close the stock. If you guys have seen it, I'm sure you have if you played it all. I'm going to base it off of this more or less, so it's going to be a super simple design, something that can get into Kerbal orbit, but I'm going to make it a little bit more appropriate for landing on a new planet. So let's go ahead and throw the pod, and I do need the Clampotron. So like I said, the front of this is going to attach to the top of what I just sent in there. And this will be re-entering the atmosphere, so I do need a heat shield. Probably one that's a little bit larger. And it's probably going to be going at a pretty good clip when I come back, because I'm going to straight shot it and just plunge right into the atmosphere. So I need something that's a little bit robust. Now we need our decoupler. And this, let's see, I need the... So yeah, this is almost stock what I'm building here. I need my parachute. Let's see, parachute, utility. With all the mods, like I've said before, it's kind of hard to keep track of everything, and I don't want to have to keep searching for everything. I'm going to put it on the back side, so opposite the door. Should be good there. I do need batteries for this. This is the stage that needs the batteries. I think I'm going to go ahead and throw... Let's see, I could do radial batteries and sort of internal RCS, or I could do it the other way around. I think I don't need a massive RCS tank. Like that just looks like overkill. How much is in there? So that holds 80 units, right? Whereas this holds 6. Oh, actually, no, that's not too bad. I think that'll be pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And throw my, while I'm thinking of it, because I really don't want to forget my RCS, I'm going to throw those on. This needs plenty of it because this is going to be docking with the return craft, so I want to make sure that has enough fuel, and I think that should do it. I do need some power on here. I'm going to just throw the radial solar panels. I do need a battery, so let me not forget that. I don't need a ton of power since this is just basically going to be waiting, but I will put lights on here to make it a little bit easier. I think they're in electrical, aren't they? Just the stock light. I guess they are in utility now. Yep, there we are. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lights right there so that I can actually see what I'm doing, since chances are I'm going to be docking at night, since that's my luck. To always wind up docking when it's nighttime. And that should do it. Okay, now we need the engine before I forget. And I want something super efficient. I think I'm going to just go with, like I said, the stock engine, our friendly little Terrier, but I want to just make sure with really quick that I don't have another engine that's a little bit more efficient. So that gives me in a vacuum 345 for my specific impulse, which is quite nice. I don't think anything here is going to match that. I'm just going to look through everything in a similar size. That's close. It weighs pretty much the same. So that's 311, because we can go for a little cool factor, right? I mean, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Delta V 1400. Let me see if it changes with the Terrier much. 1459. Yeah, that doesn't really change much. And this one is actually a little bit lighter. It's not quite as efficient, but it is a little bit lighter, so it's cool looking. So why? Jeb likes cool. Jeb definitely drives the cool ships, so he will take a cool new engine as opposed to a tired old one that he has used many times on the PS4. So now I need my the second bit. Okay, so maybe we have to go stock if this isn't going to work properly. That's one of the problems with some of these engines, is I know that they don't use the shrouds entirely or as they should. So I'm going to just see what there is here, if there's something that I can use that makes it look a little bit better, because technically that works. And I think I am going to have I don't know, that doesn't look very good. But do I want to go with it instead of the Terrier because of... No, fine. I'll go with the Poodle, whichever one it is. I'll go with stock just because I don't like that aesthetic. Okay, now we are good to go. I'm going to do a little bit of asparagus staging to try and get Jeb back. I could have done SRBs, but I want to make sure I have plenty of efficiency, so I'm going to do 2 of these, and then we are going to throw the engine on. Let's see, I want, if I can here, I'm going to use a new engine. So let me find the reference. So our reference, I need something that works well in the atmosphere, since that's where this is going to be taking off. So 265 and 250 for the stock engines. This one gives 285. I wonder if it's the same size. This one looks like it's basically... Yeah, okay, that's a new engine that looks stock alike, I'll say. So I'm going to go with that bad boy. That looks pretty good. Now I need to do... I'm not going to do 2x2 asparagus staging. I'm just going to do 4 engines on the outside that all feed into the central, as opposed to pure asparagus staging. So it's going to be basically just... I think this will be decent size. So I'm going to do a fuel tank. I'm not going... Oops. I'm not going to do... 2 more of each, because I do need to land this with parachutes in the planet. And yes, that's how Jeb got into that problem, was for getting parachutes. So I am making sure I have plenty of them this time. What am I looking for? Fuel tanks. I want exactly what I have on there. Throw those on, make sure they're seated properly and straight. And then I'm going to do the smaller size underneath. And I will be using engines under... I think I should do one more just for a little bit of extra help. I'm going to throw that little guy right there. And I will be using engines under there for extra boost to make sure I can get off the planet. Because like I said, I don't know exactly what's required. So I'm just going to guess it a little bit. Let's see, where are we? Oh, need to go up a little bit. Maybe I can use some fun new engines too, though. So what, this is not very good at sea level, so I don't want to use those. So maybe I can get, ooh, way too low on the thrust. I want to get something that's, like I said, stock alike, but looks cool, because why not? Okay, so 265, 250, 220, that's not quite as efficient, 200. That's probably a little bit of overkill. Actually, that cluster is lighter than the stock parts. Let me see how that looks. a few engines there, but maybe I can... Is there a pair? Yeah, no, that's not the pair. I know in the larger size there is a pair of RD-180s like that. I don't know, that looks pretty good. They're technically light, so I think I'm going to go ahead and go with that. Let's see, I have... let me put them all on the same stage. 4,100 meters per second plus the extra 1,000, so that should give me, well, plenty... Okay, I should have plenty of delta V to be able to get into orbit around Cerulean, assuming it's not some super mutant hostile planet. But I did get in there just fine, so I think... I don't think I'm going to run into any problems with it. Let me make sure I can get the fuel line in the right place, though. So these are going to feed the main engine, and then I'm going to ditch those during the ascent stage. I will need to put fins on this before I forget, since it will be in the atmosphere, and I want to take no chances with our little buddy. So I'm just going to do some small or large. Yeah, that's a bit big, I guess. I think I'll do something like that. No, I guess I am just going to have to go with that size. I don't think that'll hurt anything. So now we need the really important part, which is our parachutes. How many of these? I think that's going to want to snap, but I might... Okay, I don't know how many I'm going to need. I will probably need a drogue chute, but I can put that on the body. The idea is that I'm going to be landing this straight down. So I think I'm going to put a few of these radially. In those, I'll worry about the staging later, because I think it's going to be a bit complicated if I try and worry about it now before they're even coupled. So I'm not going to worry about the staging as far as parachutes go right now too much. Let's see. So I'm going to, just for fun, add a little bit of spice with, let's see. We'll go with the purple one. With a few different colors, because I do have a few different parachutes here. And this should... Oh, they're actually... Looking from here, I can see they're not quite aligned. Looks pretty good, I think. That should be enough. So ideally, this is going to let it land safely. I hope that's enough. I might need to add a few more. But now I need some legs so that this thing can land. And the legs will get jettisoned when I ditch this stage. So let's... I want some big, sturdy ones. Those look pretty good. But the critical bit will be to make sure that they... Yeah. Okay, sometimes the legs don't come down far enough and the engines actually hit first. I'm going to, just to be safe... Oh, I don't have snapping. Let me... Whoop. Not quite what I wanted to do. Okay, I'm going to bring those down to about there. Let me bring these over. There. That should be almost SpaceX style, a reverse landing, except I'm not going to be using any fuel to do it if I can help it. Make sure that looks more or less even. I think that should do it. You know what? I'm going to just bring these out on the opposite side because it looks slightly unbalanced to me. Oh, I need the fuel. I didn't notice that it shifted that. And that's not attaching. That would be problematic. Make sure it's working. Yep. Okay, let's take a look. Why is there height difference? Did these move suddenly? I think I'm going to have to use the move tool to make sure they are precise. Okay. I'm going to pull it right up there. Then I'll have to move these down. If they're uneven, the whole point of this is going to... Yeah, I think that is even. Okay, well, not sure how it's going to work, but I think it's going to work, I guess. Let me take a look and make sure I'm not missing anything. I have the drogue chutes. I think I will put more just to be sure, since parachutes aren't incredibly heavy and they can make all the difference. This looks good. Let me make sure these are retracted when I launch. So now I need to throw this on top of a lifter. And I'm going to be putting a shroud. This is not very aerodynamic, I know, especially for ascending from Cerulean. But with the... I would like the parachutes to be a little bit wider spaced. You know what? I wonder if I can do the radial ones. Yeah, you know, I think I do want to make sure I have every benefit I can. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a nose cone on there. And then I'm going to use more of the radial chutes. But I'm going to use them on the outside because I really want it to be stable as it falls. Oops. So let's... and I'm going to keep them fairly high up. I don't know how many I need. I don't have any parachute mods installed. I mean, I have specific asset mods, but not... none that help me calculate. So I'm just going to go overkill. And I figure that should be good. Yeah, that's a fair bit. Make sure they're all on the same stage. And the drogue chutes are different. Okay, good. I'm going to call this the... if it'll work. Okay, let's try. Third time's a charm. Jeb, come home. Jeb, come home. There we go. We are going to save this. And now I'm going to add my lifter on the base of this. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and use the same one that I had last time. It was the mid lift, was it not? Make sure. Yeah, that looks like it. So I will need to be using quite a bit more space tape to secure this, because we don't need any wobbles and burning fire death raining down over the city around the Space Center. So let me go ahead and space tape it really quick. Perfect. And I am going to be throwing RCS on this because I don't want to use... Actually, I need to disable... Okay, good, it is disabled. I don't want to use any RCS on this until I am in orbit around Cerulean, where I absolutely need to. So the maneuvering will be done by this. This section here, I'm going to add some radial RCS. I'm going to double up because it's going to take quite a bit. And I think that I might have a more powerful version of the RCS ports. Yeah, so that gives 7 versus... so let's see, what are the units? Thruster power is 7. I don't know what sort of units those are, but this gives 7 of them, whatever they are, and the regular one only gives 1. So I would like to have... Let me actually make sure I'm getting the right stage here. So where... Yeah, see, the engine's right there. That's... I wanted to make sure I'm not missing anything here. I know that's a little offset because of the angle, but I think it's still going to do the job just fine. Oh, that was only 2 times symmetry. I need 4 of those. Bring it up a little higher. I think that should be powerful enough to maneuver all this once I'm up there. So that looks good. I can't... Okay, let me just make sure Jeb has everything you need. The parachutes are going to land. That's going to go there. I do have the staging with the fuel lines correct, hopefully, yes. I have my engines. The thrust to weight is sufficient. Oh, I need my my fairing, don't I? Where do I want to put that? I think if I put it here... Where was that? Payload. I think it'll look okay right there. It shouldn't mess up the space tape that I put in. Bring it up a little bit. Have it sort of follow the contours if I can. Oh. And I guess close it right there. Looks pretty good. Make sure... Yeah, the space tape seems to work just fine. I don't think we're going to have any issues, so let's... I'm going to save this full assembly just because I like... because I quite like it. Maybe? 2. We'll throw a 2 because typing F for some reason did not work very well. So let's go ahead to the launch pad. Nope, let's not go to the launch pad because this has someone in it. And if somebody's in it, Jeb's going to be really grumpy when he finds out there's no room for him to come home. So I need to go back and make sure I have a remote guidance on here. So that would have been bad. Jeb would have been happy to see someone, but rather grumpy about the not going home thing. Let's see. I would like to put it... Yeah, I'm going to need to put it up at the top here. So let me just disconnect that really quick. I think it's in pods here. It's just this. Oh, I need to sort by size to find it. Where is the basic? There we go. Since I have, I should have enough. No, I'm going to put just to be safe. Reaction wheel, tiny reaction wheel. No, I want regular one. I just want to be sure that I have enough control in case I do run out of RCS. Okay, let's step back, make sure the space tape's in. Yeah, more or less. I think, no, that's actually... Let me see if I can fix that really quick. Start from the bottom here. I think that'll help a little bit. Okay, that should be good. I'm going to go ahead and save it again and ditch the pilot. So long, Valentina. And you'll notice that I had Gene Kerman go to the college career fair and hire a few young new recruits with promises of glory and fame. So I have a bunch of others ready to go, but none of them are needed for this mission. This is an unmanned so that Jeb can come home flight. So I think we are going to go to the pad and keep our fingers crossed that we didn't forget anything during assembly so that we can bring our good buddy home. I am, like I said, going to be using the mech Jeb to get into a proper orbit, but I do need to check the map to make sure it's timed. I'm not going to set it as, I'm going to sort of manually dock, not entirely manual, but I am going to sort of manually dock. So I need to time it on my own. I don't, sometimes I've found issues with the auto docking system. So if I don't have to use it, I'm not going to. I have sort of an easier trick. I mean, it's not foolproof by any means, but an easier trick to docking. So I'm going to go ahead and set Mech Jeb to ascent guidance. Gotta hurry, I kind of got that a little close. I'm going to do 110. And that will bring me pretty close underneath the other unit that I'm going to dock with. So let me start the engines. Okay, why is it not staging? Do I not have auto stage? Okay, we are going to revert to launch because that's not quite what we were hoping for. I must have had something wrong. So I'm going to make sure my staging and everything are right before I do the time warp. Okay, what did I do wrong? Let's check my state. If I can grab it. check my staging. Oops. So we have the 2 engines. I'm going to throw those in the same stage just for ease. I'm going to throw this up here. So we have that. So those will detach. And then that will detach. Those, nope, I don't want those. I need that engine. I guess another one of those lessons to check your staging, because that would have been rather catastrophic. I don't need to worry about anything beyond that. So I think we should be good there. No crew in it. Make sure someone didn't sneak aboard. Okay, let's redo the ascent guidance. 110. Okay, do I have auto warp? Auto stage, right? Okay. Should be good. I don't know what went wrong there. Maybe because I had the target set. I'm not going to go ahead and set that until I get into orbit. Let me fast forward here. Yeah, I don't know if maybe because I had it set to dock with the rendezvous ship. Wait, actually, which one is which? Ooh. Okay, well, that could have been problematic. I was going to dock with the wrong ship, so I need to let the Jeb return make a full loop, since that's the one I actually need to rendezvous with. My bad. And then we will go ahead and launch. That's another ship that I was messing around with the auto docking system. Okay, should be getting close. I want it to be just ahead of me since I'm going to be in a slightly smaller orbit. This will make it easy to catch up pretty quickly. Like I said, I'm only going to do about 10 kilometers difference, and that will mean when I do get my closest approach, it's going to be quite close. Okay, engage autopilot. Okay, should be going on its own. We have 110 set. Let's make sure, yep, it is working this time, so we will watch it do its thing, and I will have more fizzy drink. And once again, I love that plume. That is so nice. I mean, not that the stock is bad by any means, but that just looks really, really good. Especially coming through the clouds. Yeah, that's just really nice. Oh, look at that. Apparently we hit a big patch. That was, I haven't seen it that thick before. That was really cool. Man, look at that. That is, I'm really liking that. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I don't know why the clouds are so thick today, but that's really brilliant. Look at that. I can't get over that. And you can see the city before. You can tell that I've been playing on the PS4 for a while because this all looks bloody brilliant to me. But that's okay. It's like a whole new game, and I am quite chuffed. So perfect, and perfectly pretty. I'm just going to keep the HUD off since the autopilot's on while it does this. And actually, I'm going to check and make sure I have circularization on. Yeah, I think that's quite nice. Yes, you can tell by my big smile that I really enjoy it. So if anyone is looking for a good mod, go ahead and try the real plume. Make sure it doesn't hit the engine. We're good. Did we lose a fin? Did we lose a fin? No, we're good. We're just going to pretend that didn't happen. We're going to zoom out here and look at that. Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm going to ramble on about this, but I've loved watching space launches since I was about yay big, and watching them on TV and seeing that effect as the rocket goes higher and higher. To actually have a game where I can do that is a really, really cool... I just really, really appreciate that. That's a really fun thing to see. I mean, that right there makes me really happy to see. I know I've said that before, but I just love the way that looks. So, hey, welcome to the chat and the show. I am trying to get our good buddy Jeb home from the planet Cerulean. So this is... Ooh, that's actually... Let me see what's going on here. Jeb has been stranded on Cerulean for almost a decade, so I am doing the second of 2 launches to get my ship in orbit, something that can go pick up our good buddy from Cerulean. So let me make sure this is doing what it's supposed to. I think it's still going. Yeah, it still needs to do its circularization. I don't know why it's bobbing like that. Makes me a little nervous. I can ditch this, but this is what I'm going to be landing on Cerulean, this little thing up here. Since I don't know exactly what it takes to get off of Cerulean, I'm going based off of Kerbal standards, and this has more than enough delta V to get into orbit, where Jeb will be reunited with the ship that I have in orbit around Kerbal that's going to provide the return trip. So this little bit right here is going to connect to what I already have orbiting right there, and that should be enough to get him home, because he is quite ready for his little pudding cups, and he's tired of being in his spacesuit for a decade, and it's time to actually have access to him. So that is what we are working on, and I'm just waiting for Mech Jeb to get me into his circular orbit here. I'm using that. I usually don't like to go with the automated stuff when I do launches, but since I am docking, I want to make sure that everything as precise as possible to make it easier, since docking is a bit of a challenge. And I don't usually use the docking autopilot because I found there are a few issues with that. It takes forever sometimes. So I'm going to be docking manually, so I want to make sure I get into a good clean orbit, and that's why I'm using Mech Jeb. But not having had that playing on console so long, I am well pleased to be able to actually have something like that. So I'm going to take advantage of it. Auto staging looks good. Never mind the explosions. Kerbal is about explosions. I'm going to turn that off again just because I like the plume effect. That's really, really cool. I'm glad that that plume effect doesn't just affect the mod engines. That also works on the regular engines. I think that's the stock, what is it? The Rhino. That's just the stock Rhino. I know that was one of the most efficient, so I'm going to go with that. In this stage, a lot of the mod engines I've found don't connect properly, or the fairings don't look right, so I've had to use a lot of stock engines for this. But you will notice I do have all mod engines on this because those look cool and they have the same performance as the stock, so I'm going to go with something that looks cool because why not? And it looks like we are just about in a perfect orbit, and I'm just going to watch that burn out, and we are done. I'm going to make sure this is off because even when that's on, I found if you don't actually engage the autopilot, sometimes it'll limit your thrust when you're trying to leave the planet. Okay, let's set our target for that. I'm going to F5 and save, and now we are going to time warp. And we're going to wait until we get closer and closer, and then I'm going to go ahead and set up my maneuver that will get me to actually dock with it. So I'm going to wait until I get really close. So this is my easiest trick that I found for docking. If you guys are interested in learning docking techniques that don't require the mods entirely, the best thing I can do is just set a higher orbit for your first ship and a lower orbit by probably 5%. So this ship is orbiting at 120K. And the one I just launched is 110, so they're really, really close as it is. And once you get probably, I just sort of eyeball it. Once you get close, I mean, it depends on how far apart your orbits are, but once you get pretty close, then you're going to want to go ahead and set your maneuver node right about where you are to extend your apoaps on the opposite side of the planet, and that should push you within that 5-kilometer window, that sort of magic number for docking. So if I get really, really close here, that's going to allow me to get with one simple maneuver. I know this does take time. If you're concerned about in-game time, this probably isn't the best idea. But if you wait until you're really close and you don't mind watching a few orbits. See, I mean, already I'm super, super close. But I'm going to put it real time there. And I'm going to put a maneuver out here. And let's see how close this gets me just on the first try. I think that's... Oh, a little too far. Let me bring that down. It won't take much. I can't quite see what my distance is. So let's see how close we are for our first. That's 9.8, so that's getting close. Let me see if I reduce it if it gets closer or farther. 7, okay, so that's even closer. Yeah, that's putting me... So in one maneuver... Oh, a little too twitchy there. In one maneuver, I'm getting really, really, really close. You know what? I think I'm going to try and push it just a little bit more, so I'm going to delete that. But you get the principle that you won't have to do much to get a close orbit. And I should be... I don't think that my inclination is any different, so I'm going to just do the time warp here for a little bit more. There we go. Let it catch up. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and throw one on my periaps. And let's see what we get over here. Should be getting a little bit closer. How close are we? And I bet I can fix that just a little bit. Whoops. With... if we can grab it, maybe. Okay, little too twitchy here. Having a hard time. Okay. Oh, that looks like a good one right there. Yeah, both of those look pretty good. And that is within 5K. So one little maneuver. Is that bringing it closer or farther? Okay, that's bringing it a little bit farther. So I'm going to do this just a touch more. And that brings me to 4.1. And when I'm within 4.1, that is plenty close. So I'm going to go ahead and aim at my maneuver, which is coming up quickly, but I should have the reaction wheels, which will help. And I've dumped a bunch of weight. So I should be able to dock just fine before... or I should be able to get to my node. Aim at it, I should say, before I actually get there. Yeah, that was just a tiny little adjustment. And it looks like we are there. So I'm going to quick save and warp to the node. And do our quick little tiny burn. It's only going to take a couple seconds, and that should give me what I need. Okay. Okay, might have pushed it off just a tiny bit, but that's okay. I should be, yeah, still 4.6, so I'm within margin of error. I'm going to turn my RCS on, turn this off, and now I'm just going to quick save, and then I'm going to warp. Actually, let me see which one of those is closest. That one's a little bit farther, so I'm going to wait until I get here. Okay, I'm getting closer. Now is when I can start using some of the tools from the mods. Like I said, I don't use the rendezvous autopilot, but the docking system I do use. Oops, it's over there. I do use that, so I'm going to catch up a little bit to where I can start using that. My RCS is on, okay, so that I should be fine there. I'm gonna quick save one more time because disaster is always one button press away. Let me see how close I am to it. So 1 minute. Okay, that should mean that I'm... okay, target, rendezvous. Turn that on. I'm going to turn off my orbital information. I just want my rendezvous so I can see. Okay, I'm within 5. Now I'm going to start bleeding off some of... oh, okay, I need to make sure those are not on. Turn off crossfeed here. Oh, it is. How do I guess I'm going to have to disable... I know I'm pushing this a little bit. I hope it doesn't just turn off those. Dag, it does. Oh well, I guess that's okay. Hopefully I don't use it all. That's why I have the reaction wheels. Let me see if I can actually locate where the target is. I'm going to be getting really close here. I do want to turn on docking mode. So what is it doing? It seems like everything is, they are having a few different issues here. Let me turn these off because I think they are causing problems. They're conflicting. And I'm not quite sure how to turn that off and stop that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it manually and hope that that works. Where's the other one? And yeah, I know I'm pretty much passing my window of opportunity here. Disable. Which one's still on? That guy. Okay, turn him off. Whoop, where'd it go? Can't quite find it. See, this is what always happens. It always ends up happening right in the dark. Okay, now we should be okay. So now I want to rotate. Why is it not rotating? Let's turn rotation on and see if... There we go. That should do it. And I'm not using any up above. Let me actually switch to my locked view. I do not need my heat. Oops. Oops. Okay, we're going to get it locked. There we go. This should make it a little bit easier. And I know that the target is getting away from me, so I need to hurry and kill the speed. Okay, should be close. Now let's turn it back. Okay, that should help kill our speed. So I'm just moving forward a little bit. I did miss my closest window. Actually, I'm going to turn off RCS and use the thrust to get me where I need to be. Okay, that pretty much neutralized my losing speed. So now I want to turn RCS back on. And, ooh, what's it doing? Okay, now going to rotate just a little bit up this way. Now I'm going to try and drive my prograde right over the target. I should be picking up speed relative to it. Let's see my... Wait, am I... Oh, anti-target, of course. Should have realized I'm facing the wrong way. So let me hurry and rotate. Yep, my prograde is going anti-target, but luckily I'm still super close to it, so I'm not going to have a real big problem. So I want to be aiming towards it. Here we go. Now we switch back to linear. Now we are going to be getting closer to it. Did I kill off all my... Oh, I killed off all my RCS already. Good thing I wasn't using the other one. I wasn't using my fuel from the Jeb stage. That could have ended in a bit of a disaster. So what I think I'm going to do is get relatively close, and then I'm going to switch over to the other stage. The other vehicle, and I'm going to use that one to do the actual docking. So I'm going to switch to that, and then I'm going to switch my target back to what I was just on, right here. Set as target. Okay, now I will use the RCS on this to do the last few touches to actually dock. Turn on my S. Okay, I want to be prograde with my target, so I'm aiming right at it. And I should probably watch my RCS fuel here, since my monopropellant. I don't want to have the same problem I did last time. Looks like it's a little bit more efficient. Those engines I have must be super, super thirsty. Those huge ones that are 7 times as powerful. Oh, I got make sure I have locked view so that my rotations are easier. Okay, now. Oh, didn't realize I had the engine on. Let me go back to docking mode. And see if I can't get a clean approach. My speed relative to it is still decent. So I'm going to get over here, turn off my RCS, do a little burn. Whoa, crap, wrong button, wrong button. Yeah, now I'm coming really hot. So let me go anti-target so I can slow down with the main engine since I'm coming in way too hot. My speed is decreased, or my distance is decreasing rapidly, so I'm going to try and burn with the main engine to drop that. Okay, cool. I've got it in view. Get anti-target here. I should be safe. I'm going to quick save really quick. Then I'm going to bleed off most of that speed before I run into it. And then once I'm right there, a little bit of a dirty maneuver here, but that's okay. I have plenty of RCS for this. And we should be good. So I'm going to go back to face the target, and then my distance is decreasing. That's okay. As soon as I get back to face it. Okay, now I'm going to turn stability on. Okay. Why is the... Okay, turn SAS off. That should be... Should be getting closer. Okay, that's what I needed. So I am heading prograde at my target. So there it is up there. Let me bring it a little bit closer. I'm going to make sure I'm aiming at it. Then I'm going to do a little burn forward. You know what, let me just give it a little juice this way. There we go. Now I'm not going so fast that I can't bleed off the speed with my RCS, so let me just approach that a little bit. While I'm doing that, I might as well aim towards it here. I'm just trying to line it up a little bit. I think I'll wait till I'm just a touch closer, since I'm 1,500 meters, so I'm coming in pretty good. I'm going to quick save and just speed up a little bit so that I can catch up there. Once I'm under 1 kilometer, I'll go ahead and start slowing down. Just about. Okay, now I'm going to try and kill my speed. These aren't quite as powerful as the others, but at least I have enough fuel to do this. Let me try this really quick, see if this is a little bit faster. Usually I don't try and dock with such heavy ships, so it just makes doing my movements a little bit tricky. Okay, should be getting close. Okay, now we're aiming right for it. I'm going to go back to manual control. I want to try and bring my prograde over it. Got it in sight. And I'm still approaching. Let me try and line up just so I have a better reference point here. Closer than 500 meters, so I'm going to try and bleed off the speed again. Still good on my monopropellant, so I'm not too worried. But these are quite slow with all this weight, and it's really hard to maneuver, so that's what's causing so much grief. Rotate it just a little bit and try and bleed off the speed this way. Yeah, last time I try and do something this heavy. Having a bit of trouble this time. Oh, if this thing wasn't so heavy, it'd be a lot easier. Should be coming closer to it now. Let me just try and bleed off as much speed as I can here. Now let me go ahead and try this. Let's see what this does. See if I can't get it to do the fine adjustments here before I run out of monopropellant. So it's got the target set up. Let's see how this goes about it. Once we've got this, then we can wait for our burn to go get into orbit around Cerulean. I think I'm probably going to need to wait a couple of years, but as long as we go to the map view, it shouldn't take too long to plan the maneuver. Using our fuel pretty quick, but I think this is going to get it without too much trouble. Yes, like I said, this is usually not so hard. It's just because I have a giant weight on it. Because I need this fuel to help get to Cerulean, otherwise I wouldn't be using this. But this big, I think next time I'm going to use add some thrusters down here. That would really have made it easy. But I am getting close. I'm within 500 meters. Yes, normally if it was just the little ship, I would have had this done a long time ago. But since I'm dragging around a bunch of dead weight, it's quite difficult. And that's turned out to be quite a problem. So I guess had I had some foresight, I would have said, for those of you not watching live, go ahead and fast forward about 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes while I wait for a bunch of things to not happen. But now if you're here, we're pretty close, so you might as well watch. See, I'm getting a little concerned that we're going to run out of RCS. And if that's the case, I don't know exactly what we'll do. I will go ahead and see what happens. Maybe I'll have to set it to do it on the other ship, but I ran out of that one too, didn't I? Well, I guess worst case scenario, I could just do another launch. And on the next so if this doesn't work, I'm going to go ahead and on my own do another launch and get these two docked. And then for the next live stream, I'll go ahead and use those as though nothing else happened, as though this whole thing was just not a mistake. Yeah, I'm just about to run out, and we're about to go. It's got it lined up, but yeah, I just think I need to throw one more engine, one more RCS thruster, and a little bit extra fuel. So let me try and switch over here and see if there's any way that it could dock. We're so close, that's the problem. Let's see if I can even... Okay, let's see if it can do anything. I don't think it can. I don't think it's going to be able to dock at all. We're actually getting farther. So I'm going to leave this in orbit. Let me zoom out here. So I'm going to keep that in orbit, and I'm going to switch to this one here, and I'm going to ditch this back in the ocean. So let me get rid of all the autopilot stuff. Get rid of my docking. Turn off mech jeb. Turn off the RCS. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and ditch this back in the atmosphere in a glorious ball of flame, and I'm going to relaunch on my own and account for the RCS issues, and then I will go ahead and come back and do another live stream probably on, let's see, Wednesday or Thursday, whenever I have time. So for those of you who watched, sorry about the last 15 minutes being a disaster of RCS, but I will go ahead and get this thing back into orbit and dock the two, so it'll look identical to this, just with some extra RCS. And then, oh, because I'm still set as target. That's, let me unset the target really quick. Yes, I don't, unset target. Okay, now I want to be retrograde to Kerbal. So yes, next time it will look just like this, and it will be docked to the ship that's going to bring Jeb home. but it's going to have a little bit of extra RCS to make sure we don't have a problem like this. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you Wednesday or Thursday. I will post it on the calendar, and I appreciate you guys watching. So peace out, and I will see you next time.